An essay on the way. Welcome back to my channel. I'm the Historian, and to the second part of my essay. Now this is gonna be on the Imperialism, 19th century, and its causes. Nothing more than its causes, okay? So let's get to it. To try to find one decisive factor to the imperialism is impossible, as the causes are too many and widespread. They are rather all true, but work in conjunction to contribute to where no single factor by itself could have generated the imperialism, but all of them together did. One reason shall therefore not be seen as untrue because another contradicts the first, but they all speak to different people during the same time. Economical gain was one of the greatest causes. Case in point, whole wars with thousands of dead because of one thing: economics. In the Opium War 1839, the Chinese seized 1,000 tons of opium from the British trading ships. The British grew and produced industrial quantities of opium in China to sell to the Chinese smugglers, who in turn paid with tea. Today, the area around India, Burma, Afghanistan and Pakistan is still the world's largest producers of opium and heroin. This was the opening shot for the Opium War, where steam-powered British battleships made of iron smacked the Chinese fleet that were still sailing ships made of wood. The result became that 5 ports opened up to trade in China, and opium were still sold into China into the 20th century. The old colonies gave cheap raw materials to the British factories. They saw this and wanted a lot more of it. So the great quantities of this, question of this: which came first, the imperialism or the industrialism? Which spurred the other, the chicken or the egg? The truth here is they're so intertwined that they are almost one and the same. The idealistic causes were many. The first was spreading of Christianity. People were often very religious and believed what the Bible said, and that by that reason saw it as their duty to convert as many savages to the true Christian belief as possible. Just look at this map. Did they succeed in converting great parts of the world? Just about all of the Christian countries outside of Europe was converted as a result of the imperialism. Even if South America today is Catholic and was turned during the colonization, it can be argued to be a form of imperialism. How people looked at humanity had changed somewhat. 1807, England outlawed slavery and tried to spread their humanitarian way. According to the enlightened British upper crust, they were, of course, superior to the rest of the savage people in, for example, the dark forests of Africa. Therefore, it was the British duty to spread civilization to the poor bastards who none had. This applied, of course, to China as well, but they happily declined everything as they thought they had it all better themselves. One can argue that the central moral principles of the imperialism was religious Christian missionary, adventuring, philanthropy, and free commerce. All of the free trading companies that traded with China, India, and Micronesia must also be seen as causing factors or structures to the imperialism, especially as they were heavily backed up by the royalty with military help. As for example, British East India Company, that was the driving force behind the First Opium War. The Second War was with the French. One of the most important actors in the entire British Empire must have been, due to pure influence, the British Queen Victoria. Born in 1819, died 1901, and ruling queen between the years 1837 and 1901. Which means she was ruling queen during the Opium War's beginning, during it, and its ending. There would have never been an Opium War if not Queen Victoria had not sided with the British East India Company and given them her military support. She alone had a power to stop this war before it even started, but she chose to begin it instead. One might think that her husband, Albert of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha, might have been able to talk some sense into her, but the sources are silent. Now, this has been the second part of this essay. There are gonna be more parts, so stay tuned, and I'm out. Bye bye. Thanks so much for watching. Like and subscribe.